Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the GTAS podcast, the Guys Talking About Shit podcast, being recorded on February 18th, 2018.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm joined always by the dainty Adam Miller.
You know there's a video feed, right? All right.
But Adam, okay, what's it up with you, the dainty Adam Miller?
I'm great. I just saw Black Panther like about an hour or two ago.
Yeah, you couldn't see it until today, since today is Sunday, actually. I forgot to mention that, but today is Sunday.
Yeah, so I was going to see it on Friday night, but I couldn't get tickets.
I saw it on...
Actually, I could have, but I would have had to sit by myself and have my wife sit on the other side of the theater.
Yeah,
so
that's the one thing the whole seated area, like the
we've talked about that before.
Yeah, we got kind of a beef with it. Good idea in theory, but it's just not. If you don't have a lot of seats, it kind of gets a little bit problematic.
Yeah.
But Adam, we got some topics we will be talking about. A lot of people have actually asked me and have been commenting they want to see our Black Panther review, which I thought that for a while we were just doing this podcast for us, but apparently now there are people who
want to hear us talk. That's
what?
Weird.
That's so insane to me.
Weird.
But I'd
That's
like
a lot of responsibility.
That is. That feels like a lot of responsibility. But I would like to thank everybody for any support that anyone has given this channel.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone's been saying such nice things, especially on our Black Panther importance video. Like, people just love that video.
Yeah. Another popular one was our TMNT talk.
yeah, the TMNT one. But our Billy Mitchell one also has a little bit of a popularity to it as well.
That's true.
But once again, thank you for all the support, everybody who gives a shit to listen to this podcast. I mean, we thought that only getting 10 subscribers would be the highlight of our year. We have 15 right now. Yeah, that's a big fucking deal. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but Adam, we will be talking about Black Panther at the end of the show. We'll save the most time for that.
Yes.
But we're going to start off with our gaming news today. And we've got one starting out with the System Shock remaster being delayed.
Yeah, wasn't this... excuse me. Wasn't this crowdfunded at some point?
Yes, this was a Kickstarted program to ask the studio Night Dive Studios to create a remaster of System Shock. Now, I didn't really have a PC growing up, so I never had a chance to play the original System Shock. But I was very interested and intrigued because people talk about that being one of the best old school like shooters.
It's like super it's inspired a lot by HAL 9000 from
I know, with like the female screen,
but it's like it has a lot to do with AI, and it's a pretty good game.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to come out.
I wouldn't say that it aged well, which is probably why
this is probably why people want this remaster. But apparently it was supposed to come out this year on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. But apparently from updates from the team say otherwise. It's been delayed. Apparently, again, I didn't even know it was delayed the first time. Mm-hmm. But apparently this is either the second or third time it's been delayed. A lot of the time, a lot of the creators, especially including the CEO of Night Dive Studios, Stephen Kick, is saying that he's taken responsibility for the change of direction, and he's decided the team needs to go on hiatus to reassess the vision of this game because it apparently really deviated from what they originally intended to where they were at now.
Yeah.
They actually quoted were saying, maybe we were a little too successful here. Maybe we lost our focus. The vision began to change. We moved from a remaster to a completely new game. We shifted engines from Unity to Unreal, and a choice that we don't regret, and one that was worked out for us. With the Switch, we began envisioning doing more, but straying from the core concepts of the original title. I mean, at least somebody's...
So it sounds like they started to make some kind of spiritual successor, or possibly a System Shock 3.
Yeah, like something that actually never really was meant... It didn't come out as a remaster. Yeah. They started changing, I guess, a little too much, and they're like, this isn't System Shock anymore. I mean, I understand at least they're giving an update.
I don't feel like he said it wasn't System Shock. I feel like he said it's not System Shock 1 and 2, which is what they said on the remaster.
Yeah, I mean, but it says he quoted him saying we moved from a remaster to almost a completely new game.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that they moved away from the System Shock IP. That's why I felt like it's either a spiritual successor or a sequel.
I mean, do you think that this is going to become a problem in the future? You think this is something that they could possibly correct? I'm not too familiar with a lot of Night Dive Studios' work.
Yeah, I'm not really either.
I'm trying to see what they...
I mean, I think this is something that happens with Kickstarter campaigns. In general, you got to think about the vast majority of Kickstarter games that have come out have not been good or are not exactly what they intended to be.
Yeah, has a Kickstarter game come out that's really been like blown people away?
I don't know about blowing. I would say yes. Some of the stuff that Double Fine has done was good, like Broken Age.
Okay, I didn't play that title.
Well, it's not your kind of game. It's not really my kind of game either. But it's Tim Schafer, and Tim Schafer makes good games.
Yeah, that's true. I'm wondering what the Kickstarter made. Go ahead and keep.
I want to say like 1.3 million.
Yeah, wow, you got that right on the money there. $1.3 million was raised to get this System Shock remake.
Yeah,
and has over 21,000 backers.
Yeah,
almost 22,000, and it's. I guess if it's being delayed again, I mean, it's not like they weren't working on it. At least from what the sounds of it comes off as.
Which is sometimes what happens with Kickstarters. They realize that the goal of money that they raised is not enough.
This doesn't seem to be. This doesn't sound like it's coming off as an issue where a financial where they're going to be like, we need more money.
Yeah.
It just seems like they were. But I mean, that is a lot of wasted resources if they think that they kind of strayed a little too far from what they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not the greatest news, but at least someone's coming forward. I hate when these Kickstarters come out, like, going back to, like, Mighty Number 9. Yeah. When Mighty Number 9 was, we were, like, hearing that there were possible issues with it, and then a month before it came out, they were like, we're going to delay it another couple months. Yeah. And you're like, okay, there's something wrong here. Fishy. And then when they first images of it, it just didn't look anything like what they had been promised.
For me, there's two games that are hinging on whether I will support the idea of crowdfunding just in general.
Was it Shenmue and Bloodstained? It's those two?
Yeah. I would assume that Bloodstained is probably going to be at least a serviceable game.
Well, if anyone who doesn't know, what is Bloodstained?
Bloodstained is Igarashi, the guy that made the Castlevania series famous and came up with most of the gameplay elements that are staples from, Symphony of the Night on, decided to make his own game in that sense, like a spiritual successor.
It seems very much so like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah. And it looks pretty fucking amazing.
The artwork in it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and I think that they're putting the correct amount of effort into the game and they're managing themselves well, which is something that I think Keiji Inafune did not do. He didn't manage himself well.
Yeah, I mean, how long has Bloodstained been in development now? Because I remember a long time ago that I think we
started covering Bloodstained in our first season.
So I'm thinking at least 2 years that has been in development, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
Because we went on that hiatus for a little bit.
I'd say 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And normally a game development cycle is anywhere from 5 to 10 years.
For anybody listening, if it's any frame of reference, I crowdfunded it and wanted my copy for the Wii U, which I still want it for the Wii U because that'd be a rare version. But no, I believe they canceled the Wii U version and went strictly to the Switch and all the other consoles. The weirdest part about that Bloodstained was I never was given an email to pick what system I wanted. I still never got that option. So I don't know what happened there.
They do. If you go onto their Kickstarter page and you respond to them, or you send them a message
and say, "Hey,"
they do respond.
Okay, well then maybe that's what I need to do because is that planned for this year or early next year? I thought I heard something that
I thought it was a 2019, anyways.
Oh.
So is Shenmue, which I don't see
Shenmue.
I don't see 2019 happening.
That would be very ambitious for them to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's these Kickstarters you have faith in some of them, and then there was the one game you might know it, the one game that has the highest Kickstarter campaign of any game. It's like Star or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Fuck.
Highest Kickstarter video game ever. It's this giant star game, this space battle game or something like that. I wish I could find it because I can't remember the name of the title because I'd like to at least have some knowledge here.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking I was going to talk about this title, but there's a bunch of other titles. Yooka-Laylee was another one that kind of, apparently from what I heard, is the Switch version fixed up a lot of the issues that
the Yooka-Laylee had.
Yeah.
See, but the problems with Yooka-Laylee weren't entirely performance based. They had a lot of problems with level design as well.
Yeah, but I if I remember correctly, I thought a lot of people had a big issue with Yooka-Laylee and its camera and its gameplay was just awkward.
Yeah.
But maybe it's level. I don't know. I never played Yooka-Laylee. I'd still like to maybe pick it up on the Switch because I heard is the best version.
That's also what I've heard. But from what I've heard about Yooka-Laylee is that there's one level that's exceptionally well designed, and then all the other levels, I don't know how many other levels there are, it's 6 or something like that. They just feel like they're very lazily
tacked on.
Yeah, they feel like they're very lazily designed.
By the way, the game I was thinking of is called Star Citizen.
That's right, Star Citizen.
Star Citizen has just a ridiculous campaign of $2 million, 2,134,374. That's a fuckload of money.
No, that's not the most. 2 million or 21 million?
This is 2 million. This is 2 million?
Didn't Shenmue make like 8 million?
I don't know. I thought that they keep saying Star Citizen. Oh, wait. By August, the game has raised 50 million.
50.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why it's so big.
Yeah.
My bad. I was looking at the Star Citizen's page, and it said $2 million some dollars. But I guess since this game has been in development since 2014,
Holy shit.
they've by August, this game has raised 50 million before finally doubling that before the end of this year. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money into a game that no one has even
heard of or seen.
Yeah. So, but closing out this segment, it's like, I mean, I really hope that this System Shock does not fall into the typical
development
trope.
hell of Kickstarter.
That's if this. I keep saying if this game fails, I still say if Shenmue is a flop and is a terrible game, I'm pretty much done with Kickstarters.
Yeah,
because that's not a game that needed to be kickstarted. Because Sony released that at their thing, saying, "Hey, we're putting a bunch of money. If we get so much, we'll start putting money into it." And it's like, I don't like that. Yeah. And I think if Shenmue is the one that is the end all for me, I think that if it doesn't do well, I'm done with Kickstarter campaigns. At least for video games.
I haven't donated to anything from Kickstarter since Shenmue 3 either.
Did you promote the Mighty No. 9 Kickstarter? Or did you just buy the game whenever it came out?
I bought the game when it came out.
Okay.
But that was a mistake even.
Yeah, Mighty No. 9 is such a it's not the worst game, it is just so bland that it is it's so uninspiring.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing terribly ineptly wrong with it. It's just boring and just badly designed.
What really fucking pisses me off about Mighty No. 9 is that the other idea that he had, the Red Ash, which would have been Mega Man Legends.
Yeah.
Very Mega Man Legends like. They also did an animated feature film that's like, I don't know, it's like 37 minutes long or something like that.
I remember you talking about this Red Ash.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. The animated film is great. The story is great. Why didn't he fucking make that instead of Mighty No. 9?
I don't know.
Like, and what it is it's
I'm sure he probably thought that Mighty No. 9 was a lot more commercially a good idea than
Dude, it goes
Red
back
Ash.
to this, like, nostalgia obsession with the original Mega Man. The original Mega Man fucking sucked. I don't care what anybody says.
It's
not that
disagree
good.
with you on that.
It's not as good as people say it is.
I completely disagree.
No, Mega Man X fucking made that series completely a million times better. The original Mega Man was a good game for its time.
But even Mighty No. 9 still kind of plays off of Mega Man X.
Not really.
Kind of.
It plays off of Mega Man 8 more than anything. But
Yeah, but still. I just kind of... I know you don't really give a shit about the original Mega Man, but I do. I like the original
I understand. I understand it and appreciate it for its cultural importance and what it's done and how it enabled other series of Mega Man, you know, Zero and X, and none of that stuff would have existed. But Mega Man, the time period for Mega Man and that type of gameplay to be relevant is gone. It's gone. People don't play games like that anymore. It just it fucking sucked, and that was the wrong. He should have made Red Ash first.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but you know, I'm just disagreeing with.
And that's, dude. The reason why Mighty Number 9 sucks is because it's exactly what Mega Man would be if it was made today. Bland. The idea. There's not much behind the idea. There's not much behind the gameplay. It's just hard. And it's not even that game's not even really hard, but
no,
like,
I was gonna say
that's the whole thing about Mega Man is that like it was challenging and it was very interesting and cool for the time, but it's so simplistic. Think about how simplistic Mega Man is, the concept of Mega Man.
Well, it's like the same thing with Mario. Mario's simplistic.
Exactly, and I don't fucking buy Mario games. Like Mario Odyssey is the only Mario game I've been interested in since
I mean, I'm talking
64.
about any side-scrolling Mario game.
Yeah, but
They're all great. Maybe except Mario Brothers 2. Not Mario Brothers 2, but I mean like the 3DS the new Super Mario Brothers 2 I was like, okay, this game kind of is real generic and by the bones. Do you got anything else you want to say about shit talking on Mega Man?
No. I'm done. This isn't an angry trade episode. We gotta move on.
Okay. All right, Adam. The next topic of the day is that the possible Spyro Trilogy remaster might be coming out this year. Apparently,
about time Mark Cerny fucking does something.
Okay. You are angry today. You're really angry. You're just like, about time he fucking does something. Jeez. Apparently, according to a Kotaku UK article, a Spyro remaster is supposedly coming this year that could possibly include some cut content, and the same team that did the Crash Bandicoot remake, Vicarious Games, is possibly...
Vicarious Visions?
Maybe Vicarious Vision Games. I don't know. Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't... Okay. Well, whoever did the fucking Crash Bandicoot game.
Whatever. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm glad that they did that instead of greenlighting Knack 3.
Yeah, Knack 3. Was Knack 2, did that do any good? Vicarious Visions.
Yeah.
Vicarious Visions is going to be the place. So apparently, let me get back onto that. They're saying that it could possibly be in the third quarter of this year, and which would also be kind of relevant because September marks the 20th anniversary of Spyro.
Cool.
Which I can't believe Spyro is 20 fucking years old. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
So...
Well, you got to think, it's been 2017 was 20 years for Final Fantasy VII. Like, the PS1 is 20 years old, dude.
I know. It's
Yeah.
kind of sad. Here's the thing. What do you think? You think the Spyro is going to do well? You think that would be...
Yeah. I'm buying it.
You're buying it?
Yeah,
You're more a Spyro fan than you are... you and
Crash
Joanne
Bandicoot.
are both Spyro fans. She loves Spyro, doesn't she? Than a Crash Bandicoot. I was more Crash Bandicoot, but yeah, most people will say what were the best games on there. Most people say Crash Bandicoot or Spyro.
Yeah, or the two best platforming games for the PS1. I mean, it definitely isn't fucking Bubsy 3D.
Oh... Yeah, and then they tried to redo another Bubsy, and it was terrible. Which I actually...
They did. It's out.
Yeah,
it's out, yeah.
Apparently it sucks, though.
I mean, it's fucking Bubsy. Of course it sucks.
Okay, I'm just going to say, I think that the first two Bubsy games are not that terrible.
Listen.
Bubsy 1 and Claws of the Fur Kind are not...
Whatever, yeah.
Bubsy 2 is not too bad. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing. If Accolade wanted to get back in the games business, they should have done a new Zero Tolerance.
Ooh... Zero Tolerance, for anybody who's not familiar, that Sega game you're talking about? It was a Sega Doom clone almost on...
So fucking good.
Adam showed it to me, and I was like, okay, Adam, what the fuck are you showing me? A Sega first-person shooter? It's a really good game.
Yeah.
It's one of the few Sega games. I only own like maybe 10 Sega games, and that's one of the few I have.
Yeah.
So... apparently, also with this, if they do a Spyro trilogy, this is all unconfirmed, by the way, everybody. Yeah. This isn't anything that is confirmed. It's just a rumor. But I think with the massive success, because I would say it was a massive success, the Crash Bandicoot reboot.
Oh, yeah.
And it sold very well. It had great reviews.
Yeah.
And
you loved it.
I loved it. I had a problem that they added the jumping scheme from Warped and they put it into the first two. Yeah. They pretty much made every game it's one single jump style, which I know it sounds kind of nitpicky, but it really does kind of throw off the flow of certain jump mechanics. But besides that, the game's incredible. The game's just as hard. And then I think a lot of people were saying that it was too hard. I'm like, cry me a goddamn river, because Crash Bandicoot was always hard to me, because I went through Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3 like nobody's business, and I wasn't as familiar with Crash Bandicoot 1, but I mean, I got through it.
Yeah.
It's not if I can get through a game, anybody can. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, neither of us are actually really that skilled.
No, we love games, but none of us are good at it.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm only really good at maybe Soul Calibur 2 and maybe the original Battlefield 2 for the
you're pretty good
Xbox
at Guilty
360.
Gear.
I'm okay at Guilty Gear.
You're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm okay. Fighting games, I'm pretty decent at.
I'm trying to
but I'm not good. Like, you put me online with anybody, I'm just gonna get my ass kicked.
I think the only thing that I really fucking ever excelled at was Metal Gear Solid. Like MGO was fucking amazing.
Oh, online one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not very good gamers. We play a lot, but yeah, we're not very good. So here's the other thing with the Spyro trilogy is apparently it's going to be a timed PS4 exclusive, which I kind of thought that was odd.
That makes sense.
It makes sense, but I thought
it was only on Sony anyways.
Yeah, it was only on Sony, but I'm wondering why they would only. I mean, I think it's time for Sony to stop with the exclusives, because I think they're just so far ahead of the game. I mean, do they?
No,
really,
that's. I mean,
do they really need to kick them while they're down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's time for it to not be 3 consoles anymore. And I think that Sony is making sure that happens. Sony's not going to go after Nintendo, because
it's a whole different demographic.
Sony and Nintendo have a weird symbiotic relationship where they don't
hate each other.
They don't hate each other. They're both Japanese companies. Microsoft is this foreign company that keeps trying to break into the Japanese market, and it fucking can't because it sucks.
Oh, I think that Microsoft's pretty much given up on the Japanese market, and then they're just strictly sticking with the American and the U.S. market.
Which is the only place where they do any good anyways, because their whole design philosophy and their philosophy for everything just doesn't mesh with the Japanese idea of video games.
No, I agree with that. I just kind of thought, why would you do a timed exclusive? Crash Bandicoot's not timed. It's just is. It's just PS4 exclusive. This now is, once again, it's all rumors, but I mean, don't you think that they just say this can be a PS4 exclusive? It's Spyro. It's ours. We're gonna do it.
They probably should, but
the only reason why I
don't think that Xbox shouldn't have games, but I think from a business standpoint, I just
feel like PS4 is so ahead of the curve now that they're just like, do they really need to just do all these? I mean, they have an exclusive, 5 exclusive coming out every month. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry for Xbox fans. It's not that. I know it sounds like we are Xbox haters. Adam, you probably are. I'm not an Xbox hater. I just think the Xbox One was just a massive dump of a system, and I just think that it just blew it on its exclusivities. And because it didn't have those exclusives, people just kind of went for the PlayStation. It's like, oh, I can get exclusives and I can get all the main titles.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is mostly what people play is multi-platform games anyways.
Yeah.
The best-selling games are Call of Duty and Battlefield, and these are multi-platform games.
As much as I wanted to play Gears of War 4, as much as I want to, you don't hear anybody talking about Gears of War 4 anymore. Nope. You don't. And I remember when Gears of War was like the Halo Killer Online, when people would say it was the Halo Killer Online. It's like, you don't want a Halo Killer Online because it's your same system.
Yeah. That's your other first
That's
party
your other
property.
first. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's not what you want to do, because Xbox was just was the online community for a while. The Xbox Live was just considered the best. To the point where,
for the first 4 or 5 years of that generation, yeah,
definitely. But it's unfortunate because Xbox just, what do they got? I mean, Halo 5 kind of blew up in their face. and I love Halo, but Halo 5 Guardians just did not do what they wanted. And that could be a telltale sign for the Halo franchise if they don't start getting their shit together.
Well,
Gears of War 4 was a critical success, but no one talks about playing online Gears of War 4 anymore or anything like that.
Think about what Microsoft's exclusive franchises are. They got Forza, they got Halo, they got Gears of War.
Well, right now...
They have the other shit that they bought. Killer Instinct, which didn't do that well.
Yeah, but it's actually a really good game.
No, I that's what I've heard, but it just didn't do that well because nobody's really interested in it. But
the other thing,
Microsoft's exclusives are the same shit. You look at Sony's exclusives; they got fucking action adventure games, they got first person shooters, they got RPGs, they got all kinds of shit. But Microsoft's exclusives, and they're focused on exclusives, are almost all first and third person shooters.
Yeah, I mean. Look, it's cool that you got a Forza. I mean, Sony has their Gran Turismo, but look, I don't think racing titles are these big draws that people think that they are.
No, I mean, if you think about Forza and Gran Turismo, what is most of their advertising is based around the fact that they're like pushing the system architecture to its limits. Mm-hmm. It's not even really about the racing.
No, it's some regard. How realistic are these cars, and there are car nuts that want that, but.
I mean, my brother's one of them. He has
Isn't
project
he a mechanic?
cars. And, yeah, I mean, he's a mechanic. That's what he does. But he has project cars. He has Forza. He gets the Dirt games and everything. I'm pretty sure he has my...
I like Dirt. Dirt was a great title.
I think he has my Xbox 360.
I actually wish that they would... I would actually care if they brought... Well, unfortunately, Burnout's pretty much done. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind if they did more MotorStorms. I really liked MotorStorm games. So I think that the Spyro Trilogy is definitely, it's going to be a good idea, and it's like, I wonder what they would go after. What would be a title that you would want after that? I wouldn't, like, a trilogy. Anything that you can think of?
Oh, like a trilogy?
Not a trilogy, but maybe like a 2 game, something like I know they're redoing a Medieval.
Yeah.
So I was thinking.
That's probably where they're going to go next. I think that there's...
They're already doing a
There's
Medieval.
3 Medieval games.
I only know 2 of on the PlayStation.
There's 2 on the PS1, and then there's 1 on the PSP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. There was 1 on the PSP. Yeah. I'm thinking that or like Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver would be a really nice...
I'm not a huge fan, but I think that this is probably a good time to bring that back. I think that there's enough people that would get hyped for that.
Mm-hmm. A new one. Mm-hmm. Okay, Adam. Next topic. Media crates. They're the... Dynasty Warriors, the new, I guess they were the ones who took over the Dynasty Warriors 9 franchise.
Wait, that's who developed it? It wasn't Omega Force?
I don't believe so. Media Crates is the one that is actually talking about it. Let me see. Media Crates, Dynasty Warriors 5. 5. That's going a little far back there. Let's see. Either way, Dynasty Warriors 9 is not...
It's fucked up. It's a flop.
It is Omega Force. I don't know where I got this Media Crates. This must be a... Media Crate must be some sort of distributor or something like that. They're mostly saying that a big reason why Dynasty Warriors 9 is not performing the way that they would hope is that it's due to games like Monster Hunter World, and they're saying that the fact that they switched to an open world like setting is a big cause as to why the sales are 60% down from Dynasty Warriors 8.
And that's not what it is at all.
I actually thought that the open world was a big draw for a lot of people to go into Dynasty Warriors 9.
That's why I bought it, and I didn't open it, and I returned it. And here's why I'm going to tell you why that happened. So they did spend a lot of time making this open world. The problem is they didn't populate it with very much to do. They have problems with the AI, where animals that because you can hunt in this game to get materials and stuff like that, and that's really awesome.
Which was honestly my biggest concern whenever Zelda was coming out was they have this big world, but is there enough to do in it? And unlike Dynasty Wars, it seems that
In
or
Zelda,
unlike Zelda, it seems like there
Dynasty
was stuff
Warriors,
to do.
yeah.
Dynasty Warriors 9
There
was
isn't.
not. Now there are some people who are really big fans of it. I've talked to a few people at local stores.
It seems like people either love it or they fucking hate it.
Yeah,
there's no in between.
Yeah, I've seen some reviews where people really enjoy their time with it. They love the replayability with all the there's 90 characters or something.
There's 90 characters and each of them have their own unique story path.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds so good in theory.
That's part of the game that I think is great. My thing with this is that there's issues with AI spawning and then they just stand there and they don't do anything. Because of the structure that Dynasty Warriors plays out in, they didn't change the structure of the game. They just plopped it into an open world. And you can grapple hook up to a fortress wall and climb over it. And then you're in the fortress, which normally you'd have to beat an officer or something, and then the doors would open. You'd go in and you would fight the boss, right? In Dynasty Warriors, any of the Warriors.
Yeah,
really,
any of them.
Formula.
You go, yeah, exactly. I mean, Dynasty Warriors, let's not act like Dynasty Warriors is this complex game. I mean, you pretty much go through each one. And
it's very formulaic. All the Warriors games have basically the same formula with slight edits to them. But in this one, they didn't really change the formula of the game. They just changed it into an open world setting where you can climb anywhere and do anything.
Yeah, which is cool.
That's cool.
That's a great idea.
They didn't think out the fact that people are just going to you can just climb over the wall and fight the boss, and then that mission's over.
Mm-hmm.
And it really removes a lot of the process of playing the Dynasty Warriors game out. And people are like, put it into hard mode. Well, I've seen people playing it in hard mode, and it really doesn't fix that problem. It just makes people harder to kill.
Yeah.
So I really feel like that they shouldn't start working on another Warriors game. They should fucking fix this one. Because, honestly, with...
Do you see that this possibly being one of those games that they completely, 5 months down the road is oh my god, game was terrible when it came out, now it's good?
It maybe. This all depends on what Omega Force and Koei decide to do.
That pisses me off, though. I'm so tired of games not being good whenever they first come out. That you have to wait 5 months. Just delay the goddamn thing.
Exactly. Oh,
just delay it 5 months.
If you're gonna needed. This game needed more work.
You're not gonna gain popularity 5 months. Let's just go equate this to a movie. Let's put an example for a movie, okay? Let's just say that you have a movie and people have a problem with it. All right, so you go back and you edit it. And you put a couple scenes in there, and you release it 5 months after it was already released. No one's gonna go see it in 5 months from now.
Exactly.
No one fucking cares.
Nobody
anymore.
Else gets that second chance.
Yeah, you gotta strike that iron while it's hot. And if people are craving the Dynasty Warriors game, you gotta make sure it's good at the beginning. You can't do this mentality of let's just shove it out. It's every Assassin's Creed does this now. It's just let's just shove it out. Yeah, it's gonna have bugs. 5 months down the road, it'll be okay. Your audience is gonna be gone. I don't know why people think that this is such a good strategy to do. Just delay the fucking thing for another 5 months if that's what you got to do.
Yeah, which is what they should have done with this game.
Yeah,
if they fix it, I'll go out and purchase it again. But as of right now, it's single player only.
Yeah, but even here's another thing. 5 months down the road, you're gonna be dropping that title $20. That's gonna be.
I don't see Dynasty Warriors holding full price for Dynasty Warriors 9 holding full price for more than a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's even less than I thought. But even it's another thing. Okay, well, we'll add a couple fixes to it and fix it up and blah 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 blah. And then you've got a sale price title that you put all this effort in. That if you would have just held off and maybe released what you need to do,
you could have got all the money back.
Yeah, you almost need to just bring in testers. You almost need to just bring in people and be like, what do you think of this game? What can be fixed? What can you do with it?
Let's talk about there because there's some other issues with Dynasty Warriors 9 too. They fired all the union voice actors that did all those iconic voices.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that they fired them and that they replaced them with a bunch of people that just are very serious, and it's weird.
They're not hamming it up like the old voice actors did. And there's also instances where some voice actors for some characters will say the same name different ways. They'll pronounce it incorrectly. Yeah,
because they don't know. That's what happens with those people. They go into a booth for a week, not even, maybe even a couple days for video game characters like these, and then they are not with other people.
Well, it's not just that they're pronouncing some of the names differently than some of the old actors. Apparently, there's some people that will refer to some people call him Cow Cow.
Cow P.
Yeah, some people call him Cow Cow or Cao Cao, but there's people pronouncing that same character's name in the same game
differently,
2 different ways.
Yeah.
And holy fuck, how could you let that happen? That's such a dumb oversight.
Yeah.
It's just the game needs a massive amount of polish, and I agree they should have delayed it for however much time.
Because you remember when we first found out, we were just kind of bullshitting. We're like, hey, Adam, it looks like Dynasty Warriors 9 comes out in like 2 weeks. You're like, what? That comes out in 2 weeks? Like, I'm like, yeah, it says it's coming out in like a week or two. Mm-hmm. And then we watch it and we're like, oh, that looks awesome. And
it does. I was so excited for it. I love.
We should have seen the writing in the wall whenever you didn't even know it was coming out.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the fact that there was a review embargo until like 6 hours before the game released.
Yeah, that's always a bad sign.
That's a bad. And Koei has never ever done that. They've never held a review embargo that sharp of a swivel in time.
Yeah, I didn't actually know they did that with games.
What, review embargoes? Oh yeah, they do.
I didn't know they did it like 6 hours before the game was released.
Yeah.
It's not even enough time to play the damn thing. Kind of thought that. Ooh.
Yeah, there were a couple people that like played with breaking the review embargo. Like Jim Sterling was talking about how the game was shit very vaguely. A couple days beforehand.
Oh, before the
review embargo was up, he was like, "There's a certain game that I'm a big fan of that I love to play that is particularly shit this iteration." And he's a huge everybody knows he's a huge Dynasty Warriors fan. So.
Oh, okay.
We knew what he was talking about, and I started to get worried. Then I'm like, but like I don't always agree with him, but most of the time his opinions are at least grounded in reality. So I'm anxious to see what he's going to say, and what he said. I'm like,
that's bad.
These are all objectively bad things. These aren't like subjective. So, yeah, I would avoid Dynasty Warriors 9. Either decide never to buy it or wait until they fix it. If they fix it. That's the problem. Like I sent Koei emails. I'm like, do you guys intend on fixing this game at all? And they gave me the standard like, we are patching the issues. I'm like, well, which issues? What are you fixing? Are you adding anything to the game? Because it's basically unfinished in some areas. They didn't give me a satisfactory answer, so that's why I decided to return.
Yeah, I think the big part was the reviews. Just the early reviews of it were not that great. And Dynasty Warriors 8, if I remember correctly, was actually supposedly a really good game.
All the Dynasty Warriors games are generally pretty good. I don't ever remember seeing one. Like, there's some that were controversial because they changed the way the characters control or whatever, but they're all fucking just good generic beat-em-up hack-and-slash games. And for one like this to have a backlash, a legitimate like huge backlash like this is unprecedented for them.
Yeah, I mean it is also the 9th in the franchise. To be fair, I mean most games don't see it past 2.
It's actually not.
Oh, because of all the empires and all those other versions?
Yeah, if you count all those, but in reality, it's actually only the 8th Dynasty Warriors game, because the first Dynasty Warriors game in the United States is a fighting game.
Really?
It's they're 3D character models, but it's a 2D fighting game. I actually have it. It's on PS1.
Oh.
So the reason, so we're 9, but in Japan this is 8.
I mean, there's so many Dynasty Warriors, though. I mean, there's
Wars,
like
Empires,
Portable,
God Seekers,
Tactics.
Dynasty Warriors Tactics.
I like Dynasty Warriors Tactics a lot.
You got to think that Romance of the Three Kingdoms is also somewhat involved in this.
Is that like a spin-off?
Well, technically, Dynasty Warriors is a spin-off of Romance of the Three Kingdoms because it was much, that was on
I guess
NES.
Romance was on. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting stuff, Adam. Wow, Dynasty Warriors. Koei, please get your shit together on this game.
Yeah. You've been doing so good, dude. Fucking Fire Emblem Warriors, Berserk Band of the Hawk. I was just playing the fuck out of One Piece, Pirate Warriors 3. Like, you've been doing so well. Why this?
What happened on this iteration? Whew. Okay. Adam, is a good one. I found a perfect way to segue from a game news to movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing them both. See what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
doing both.
We have two dicks touching in the wind.
Yep. Call of Duty, the movie.
God damn it.
Being produced with apparently the director of Sicario 2 to helm it. Now, the director of Sicario 2 is Stefano Sollima. I don't know if I pronounced that even kind of right. Stefano.
I've never heard of him, so I'm not going
to... Because he's done absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Sicario
Wonderful.
2 will be his first, kind of intro into the American audience. Besides that, he's only done short films in Italy.
Yeah.
And he's done a couple music videos, and he's directed a couple television shows. Sicario 2, if Sicario 2 is well received and well liked, Sicario 1 was great.
Yeah.
Now, if Sicario 2 is anything like 1, I could totally see him doing a Call of Duty game. Or Call of Duty movie. Now, Call of Duty as a movie franchise seems kind of a no-brainer, if you ask me.
The game's basically a fucking movie franchise anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a 2 to 3 hour campaign where you do basic fucking, like, war movie shit. It makes perfect sense. That doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Yeah. I mean, Activision is the one who's been trying to get these movies off the ground.
Yeah, geez.
And
I'm already even more disinterested now.
I do feel like it is an absolute no-brainer. I don't know why this has taken so long with how many Call of Duties have come out, especially with the popularity of it.
Yeah.
Like, why haven't you decided to come out with a film and call it just Call of Duty and have a war film, spy, whatever? It seems stupid that they haven't done that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of... seeing it might be okay now, but what they're saying is there's no plot, but in an interview with The Guardian in 2017, it said that they are putting together a universe that will draw on the feel of different incarnations of the game, rather than porting existing plots, so we don't know which era of the Call of Duty film it will kind of be in. But it seems like a lot of people want it more to be around the Black Ops series, which... okay, I kind of see why. Black Ops seems to be the one that most people go to as like having the best story. Is the Black Ops franchise?
Well, you also got to think that World at War is technically the first in the Black Ops franchise.
Yeah, I know that.
So
because it's a Black Ops is kind of a spin-off of World at War, right?
Yeah, World at War, then Black Ops. Then Black Ops 2 and 3 and whatever.
And I think if I remember, I could be wrong, but didn't
COD Blops.
I thought that the Nolan brothers had some sort of area in writing part of the story for the Black Ops franchise. So, I mean, I could be wrong on that, but...
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not going to bother looking that up. I mean, if anyone really wants to fact check me on that, go ahead. I'm very disinterested in this film.
We'll accept it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very just disinterested in this franchise, the games, and altogether a movie. I mean, don't we get enough war films already, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you really have to think about, like, where those war films come from, too. A lot of it's funded by the American government.
What, the movies?
Yeah, a lot of the war films, they pay to have those made because it makes us look fucking great, at least in the eyes of our own citizens.
Maybe. I mean, like, you could have just called Hacksaw Ridge was done by Mel Gibson a while, and you could have just called that Call of Duty, even though it's about a pacifist. I mean, but it's gore and it's war, and what is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I you're right. They shit out one war movie per year, basically.
Like, you could have called, and Dunkirk is amazing, but you could have called Dunkirk Call of Duty. Like, I just don't understand, like, what differentiates, when I think of, hey, I want to start a movie franchise, I don't want to just fall in the rut of all these other films. I don't see where Call of Duty, besides its name alone,
is going to offer anything to the war movie franchise.
No, not unless you do something like their Black Ops 3, where it's like futuristic kind of. Maybe I could see that.
I don't even want them to do that.
No, I don't want them to do it in general. I just think that if you're going to do it, do something like that, or do the Infinite War storyline. Like, but here's the thing: most people don't like Infinite Warfare or what the hell was the... Oh, no. Infinite Warfare was the one where they were in space. Advanced Warfare was the one where they had, like, Kevin Spacey's.
And jetpacks and shit.
Yeah. I think if you did something like that, maybe you could do something a little more interesting that you don't see every day. But if you're going to do Call of Duty, I mean, most people think Call of Duty is famous for its World War II setting.
Yeah, I think it's smart to go with, like, the Black Ops, storyline of the franchise. Because they touch on a lot of stuff that other games don't. They talk about secret government programs, and they talk about, secret missions and shit like that. Whereas if you think about Modern Warfare, it's like, get the bad guy terrorist, and these are some cool reoccurring characters, and stuff like that. But it's not, doesn't really offer much. Whereas, like, the reason why I like World at War and Black Ops, specifically those two, is because they offer something in terms of story content that none of the other ones do.
Well, that's like with these movie games. Like, okay, let's be fair. Almost every, besides maybe 2 or 3, mostly every game movie is terrible. Assassin's Creed is a big fucking turd put onto screen.
And you love Michael Fassbender.
I love Michael Fassbender. What the? He has not been doing anything good in the past, 2 years. Like, what the fuck, Michael? What are you doing, dude? But Assassin's Creed... Oh, and Marion Cotillard is in that movie, and I love her, too.
Yeah.
She hasn't done much either, and Jesus. Like, that's such a piece of shit movie. Warcraft was a piece of shit.
Warcraft did exceptionally well in China, though. Let's not...
Yeah, but I don't think they're funding anything. But it's not a good movie.
No, it's not. But, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The Chinese market fucking loved the shit out of Warcraft. I can't tell you why.
I can tell you why. It's a lot of their massive corporations were partially funded a lot of Warcraft.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they were pumping Warcraft like nobody's business in China. Like, everybody knew about Warcraft, and they were promoting it like it was the greatest fucking thing in the world, and promoting it like Avatar was promoted around here. They promoted Warcraft like we promote Star Wars around here.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many corporations in China that had a stake in that film that they really were pumping it up. But like, for example, Assassin's Creed, Warcraft, what other movie game has come out recently?
I mean, dude, think about the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Well, oof. Okay.
I love that for a very specific reason.
I'm talking about, though, when I bring up stuff like Assassin's Creed and Warcraft.
You're talking about, like, modern movie games.
Yeah, I'm just talking about any...
The new Tomb Raider movie.
Okay, yeah.
Kinda,
Okay, yeah. Tomb Raider at least is filling a void that doesn't really happen all that often with these, like, action adventure survival movies,
like explorer movies,
like an Indiana Jones type of movie. Those don't happen every year. If they do, they're not really well known. Maybe like a smaller indie film kind of will do it.
You got to think about that genre in general in terms of film. There's Indiana Jones, there's National Treasure, and then there's the Tomb Raider movies. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I kind of think that I don't have a problem with somebody maybe doing an Uncharted franchise. Because it's a void that doesn't happen every other week in the movie genre. Mm-hmm. Unlike Call of Duty, just is a war film. Like, if you wanted to do Battlefield 1, the movie, well, there's not a lot of World War 1 movies.
I mean, I think to simplify what we're saying is there's nothing that Call of Duty can offer as a movie, really, that is going to set itself apart.
Exactly.
Unless it does
besides
something really
name
weird.
Alone.
Yeah.
Yes, unless it does something completely off the wall, which you'd have to do one of the advanced ones, or you'd have to do Black Ops. That's the only thing I think you could do. That's just me. So count me as, if this was Rotten Potatoes, that'd have the big shit mark, like the big shit stain right at the top, because I just have no interest in this film.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't.
Yeah.
And look, Sicario 2 director may do a great job on Sicario 2. I hope he does, because Sicario was great. But then you're also handing it off to a guy who's now only had one good film.
Yeah.
At least that the American audience has seen. So, yeah, I'm completely not interested in that, and I hope that I'm not saying I hope that it doesn't happen, because
you're not shit interested.
Yeah. Wow. Nice pun there. But I'm not saying there's clearly an audience that might want to see this happen, but I am not one of that. I am not that audience.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Okay, Adam, let's go on to our next topic, which is a kind of interesting one that came out a few days ago, which was an old deal that Marvel, whenever they were struggling, tried to make with Sony Pictures.
Oh, yeah, this is a good story. Yeah, you were telling me about this before we started.
Sony was offered to buy all the movie rights to all of Marvel characters for a small sum. Well, it's not a small sum, but $25 million.
Yeah. In terms of film licensing, that's a pretty small sum.
Yes. That was 20 years ago that they were so desperate that they almost gave away all of their movies. The company survived bankruptcy.
That would have been in the 90s. That would have been when Marvel was going through its bankruptcy and reinvention.
Yeah, that's exactly when this is happening.
Yeah.
And so they offered to Sony, and I'm trying to find the exact quote. Here it is. An unnamed big shot at Sony reportedly claimed that, quote, nobody gives a shit about any other Marvel characters.
Other than Spider-Man.
So they bought Spider-Man for $10 million. And a lot of people are sitting there like, oh, well, Sony lost out on a lot of money that they could have been having because that would have been a hell of a deal.
While that's true, do you really want Sony to be in charge of the Marvel properties?
Yes. Also,
you saw what they've done.
At the time, their comic book movies were considered dead because of Batman and Robin. Let's be fair with that. Yeah. So there was that. 2, besides, I can't remember what came out first. It might have been Spider-Man. It might have been X-Men. I'm not sure. But those were the 2 movies that people were like, ooh, these comic book movies might actually be something.
Yeah.
And then there was Blade, and people were like, oh, Blade is actually really...
Blade was the shit.
Yeah, Blade was great. And so what happened was it's like, oh, well, Sony missed out on buying Black Panther. Look, we're going to get into our Black Panther review, but let's be completely honest about this.
At that time period, Black Panther would not have done well.
No. And also, under the Sony banner, like, let's be fair here, because Sony had a great success with Spider-Man 1 and 2, and then they had a 3-lump film period where they had very garbage films.
Yeah.
I don't think The Amazing Spider-Man 1 is very bad, but there's a couple things wrong with it that I think are that hold it back from being a great film. But Spider-Man 3 was awful, and Amazing Spider-Man 2 was pretty goddamn terrible. The only thing I think they handled right was the whole Gwen Stacy relationships that with Peter Parker. I thought they did that great. And then they came back with Homecoming. But that was mostly because they were in a massive rut, and Marvel was like, "Oh, well, we'll help you out on Homecoming." Yeah. So let's not be, jumping the gun here and saying that Sony buying all of the Marvel, that wouldn't have been beneficial to us at all.
It would have been terrible. Yeah.
Like, one, them having all of these characters, you wouldn't have been able, like...
I mean, just think about the watered-down version of villains from Spider-Man that you got, the watered-down version of Spider-Man in general that you got from Sony multiple times.
I just think...
Could you imagine that, the watered-down version of Captain America, the watered-down version of Black Panther, the watered-down version...
I'm not going to say that they were watered-down versions, because
They totally were.
No, because I thought Doc Ock was really good. I thought Green Goblin was okay. I just thought you had a dumb decision to put... William Dafoe, the guy who's like crazy looking on his own, you decided to put him behind a still plastic mask. Yeah. But Doc Ock I thought was really good. They did J. Jonah Jameson amazingly.
That's basically the best character.
But I thought they did Peter Parker very well, and I thought they had Spider-Man pretty good. So, I mean, I don't think... The first 2 Spider-Man are great. Spider-Man 3 was just a little bit of a setback. Not a little bit of it. Was definitely a big setback. Amazing Spider-Man was going...
We both know Sam Raimi scuttled that movie.
Yeah, he was done. He was just burnt out.
Yeah.
And then they went through the Amazing Spider-Man and just... I thought they did a lot of things right. But altogether, they could head in the right direction with this film franchise if they do it right. And then they just botched it with Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, yeah, let's not act like you guys act like Iron Man is this big superhero. No one gave a fuck about Iron Man back then. People...
Which that was Sony, wasn't it? Or is that Paramount?
Marvel did that one.
Yeah, I know, but it was also Paramount, wasn't it? It was before Marvel was its own thing.
Yeah, I believe so. I think Marvel had Paramount might have been it. But, Iron Man was kind of a gamble. Iron Man was kind of like a B-class hero. A lot of people consider Captain America way more... recognizable brand than Iron Man. But if you said that now, like, you'd be like, oh, that's not possible. But yeah, Captain America was considered like a much bigger brand. The X-Men were considered a much bigger brand, especially with the TV show at the time, and Spider-Man with the TV show at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marvel, yeah, I'm so, well, one, I'm glad that this deal never went through, but I also don't understand why people are shitting on it like, oh, Sony could have had all this money, yup. No, let's be fair here. Like, Sony would have released, if Sony would have decided to make an Iron Man movie, it probably would not have been that great.
It would have sucked. Yeah, and they wouldn't have been able to make 2 and 3 and an Avengers film that he was in.
And then get to Black Panther where we're at now.
Yeah.
Like,
it never would have happened. Sony would have fucking just
two movies I never thought I would see in my life ever were Doctor Strange and Black Panther. I never thought in my life I would ever get to see Doctor Strange on a film. Never. I'm still hoping to see a Silver Surfer movie, but we'll see whenever Marvel possibly gets that back.
I think some people are talking about how that's probably a good direction to go in. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I'm there. That's what I want. I want a Silver Surfer movie. I never thought I would get it. Doctor Strange, 100%. I would have put money down years ago saying, nah, we're never going to get a Doctor Strange film. And Black Panther, I never thought we were going to get either.
No.
I thought Black Panther had a possibility whenever it came to Blade, but I never thought, I'm like, yeah, Black Panther is just way too obscure to get a film.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, let's just pump the brakes on that, and I think it's a cool story, though. I think that only $25 million for everybody.
Yeah.
Whew, God, they were in such a deep heap of shit back then, Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, man. But yeah, that's pretty much the topic on that. That is very crazy to me. But yeah, I'm so happy that deal never went through because we never have the quality films that we have now. Okay, Adam, let's go on to our last subject of the day, and this is the big one. We are going to be talking about our thoughts on Black Panther. A lot of people are asking, as I said at the beginning of the show, about what our thoughts are on it because we're really excited for this film. And we were talking about how it was very culturally important and that it's a movie that we hope does well because it will possibly pave the way for the future of other films in it, like its nature, with more opportunities for diverse casts, not even just African American,
and not shoehorned in diverse casts, well thought out.
Well thought out. We hope that this would be a stepping stone for more Black-led films, more Black-directed films, written films, but not even just necessarily just, African-American in general, but yeah, more for any diversity. I mean, Black Panther did great for creating great female characters and just introducing different cultures to people who aren't very familiar with that. But Adam, you literally just saw this a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I loved it. There was really only one scene in the entire film that I was like, and it's only because it was a really old meme. And somebody else that I was watching the film with didn't know that it was an old meme, so they found that part funny, whereas I didn't.
Okay.
So I think for your your general normie audience that isn't meme culture-ified would probably not even notice that scene. Almost every character was fucking awesome. Like normally when you go to see a film, a superhero film, there's like a standout character that is just way better than all the other characters, and you're like, wow, this character really came. Everybody was like that. There's no way to decide on one because I feel like a lot of characters just sort of were able to fill that role. The villain was fucking fantastic. Barely even a villain.
Yeah, that's honestly, I thought that was, I thought the villain was really good. So real quick, before we keep going into this, I forgot to mention this. What we are going to be doing right now is we're going to be kind of doing a non-spoiler talk for Black Panther.
And then we're going to jump right into a review.
Yes. We are going to we're going to be talking about our thoughts, and then we're going to go into more spoiler territory, and we'll have a spoiler alert.
Yeah, so you can skip it.
Yeah, so you can stop it, come back. We'll let everybody know before that we're going to like, hey, all right, we're going to start going into spoilers now. But even so, if you're watching the video and you just jump in, you'll see spoiler alert at the top of the video. So don't worry about it. But we are just going to be doing non-spoiler discussion at this point, and then we will be going more deeply into it. Yes, I can't say anything else wrong with it. I don't have as big of a problem with the one joke you had an issue with. I'm going to start off by saying things that I didn't like about it, because overall, I love this movie. I'm just going to talk about like 2 or 3 small little issues.
That's really the one thing that I brought up is really the only thing that I really had a big problem with.
Yeah, mine has nothing.
Some of your criticisms I agree with, but I don't feel like that they like ruined the movie.
No. They don't impact the movie at all in anything. I only have like 2 or 3 issues with the film, and so I'm just going to get them out of the way now.
Yeah.
My number one criticism with the movie is that the last half of it seems very rushed. I would have actually preferred if they had done like a little extra, like 20 minutes. I just saying like, hey, make the movie a little longer.
Well,
so that
remember it was 4 hours before they edited it.
I know, but it did feel a little rushed. Just towards the end of it, because I was sitting there, I was like, "Oh, this is so great! I'm loving all this stuff." And then the end, I was like, "Oh wow, that they really wrapped that up like 1, 2, 3, done."
Yeah.
So that was a little issue I had. Number 2 is sometimes the CGI would look a little off, like a little too early 2000-y. Like, it was mostly during the final fight scene.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between the helicopter and Golgo 13 from 1979 and the Superman mustache.
I'm not gonna go that far, but
no, it's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. I was just sitting there, I was like, ooh, that doesn't look right. That. And that's probably it. Those are the only 2. Like I was like, those are maybe the only little issues I had. But besides that, no, the movie's fucking really good. Like I was just invested the whole damn time.
Yeah.
How awesome! What they should do. They should just make a show just called like Wakanda and just have like shit going on in that town, in that city.
Yeah.
You know, do a Netflix original series called Wakanda, and then just have like characters just based in that area, and then you know, Agents of Wakanda. I'd much be more about that
than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I'd be way more down for that. But okay, let's go back to those were it. That's seriously like the only little issues I have.
Yeah.
But look, no film's perfect. It's really hard for me to be like, that's a perfect film. But
I don't think there is. I don't think I've ever seen a perfect film.
No, I really don't. Even my favorite film, The Dark Knight, needed like 15 minutes shut off of it.
Yeah.
But so let's go into the big one. Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger is incredibly great. That was actually another thing that with my issue with it was like, can we have a little more time? Because I would have just loved more
character development from him.
Yeah.
Because it's like his motivation and everything, like it's so easy to sympathize with that character up until a point.
You know how I equate him very much so is he is like the complete opposite of like the Vulture. Like Marvel's been killing it with their villains. I just think like it's a kind of relatable villain that you're like, man, I get why he's doing this.
Yeah.
And
it makes sense. Like, I'm basically on his side, like I said, up until a point, which we'll get to that in the spoiler part. But, it's almost impossible not to be like, what's the problem here? You know what I mean?
I don't see. He's just.
Why is he the villain?
He's just doing it a little radically, is all.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think? Chadwick Boseman as his T'Challa, Black Panther.
I mean, he works just as well as he did in the other one.
Yeah. Do you think honestly he's great? But I think that the other characters are just so much more interesting.
Oh my god! So like the female cast in this film really like. I don't want to like because before I said nobody really steals the show, but like they're basically as close to stealing the show as it happens.
Yeah, I honestly, his sister Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. Please let me. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But she's so good. I totally bought her character. Anytime she was on screen, I'm just like, yes, she is so fun to watch. She just looks like she's having a fucking blast. She just looks like the
general of the Wakandan army.
Oh, yeah.
Which isn't that what's her name?
Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't watch The Walking Dead, but I did recognize her.
Denai Guerrera?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'd really hope. I know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to these with different culture names. I just butcher the hell out of them. Yeah. Like, unless they're like seriously something like Adam or Bob, I have such a difficult time. Your name could be Michelle, and I'd still somehow find a way to fuck it up. Yeah. You know, I'd be like Michael, Michelle. You know, I'm not very.
You mean
good
like the French version of Michael?
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah.
But Denai Guerrera, yeah, she's great. I knew she was going to be great just because I'm like, oh, it's Michonne. She's one of the best characters on The Walking Dead. Yeah. So, yeah, of course make her the general of the fucking military.
She was fucking badass. You had some criticisms for the love interest
I only had
T'Challa, but I feel like she was also a good character despite some of those.
I had my only criticism with Nakia, Lupita Nyong'o's character was not on the character itself, because I loved the character. I only just had a small little issue that she would constantly be like, she said it like 3 times, I'm not a fighter, I'm a spy.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of give her
at the
weapons
end of the movie,
and she
like,
just starts kicking all types of ass.
Yeah,
So, but no, I have no criticism with her character or anything like that. I actually love the character. I love the interaction between T'Challa and Nakia.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of think that Marvel relationships don't work and they're totally not believable, but you totally believe it in this. Like, you just see T'Challa is just all about her. Like, he just loves her.
Yeah.
He just wants her all around all the time. And that's honestly, I like that change, because she's like so independent that she's like, I got other things. I got to do stuff for the benefit of Wakanda. I can't do what I want to do.
Not even just Wakanda, the whole world.
Yeah. I can't just be at your side all the time, because I need to go and do stuff. And I thought that was great. It was a nice little flip-flop that, you just had you had this really strong female character who is just not all about the main guy.
Yeah.
But it's actually the opposite. Like, you can just tell T'Challa just loves her.
Yeah. It comes off as authentic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Martin Freeman and
Andy
Serkis were great for their little like reappearance cameos.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis is Claw's such a fun character.
Yeah.
And Martin Freeman had his moments. I kind of feel like he was a little shoehorned in there. I didn't think this isn't going into a spoiler or anything, but he kind of, to me, almost overstays his welcome. I thought he was cool whenever he first comes in, I'm like, oh, Martin Freeman, I didn't even know you were in this movie.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of tags along, and I'm like, oh, you're going to be tagging along for the rest of the ride. Oh.
You know what? Yeah, now that you say that, you're right.
I was kind of like,
feel that way.
I was kind of like, you don't really need to be there. You could have left right after the scene, but then they have this plot device that forces him to come to
use
Wakanda.
His pilot skills.
Yeah, and then he, I kind of thought Martin Freeman, even though I love him, I kind of thought, he was a lot better. He's a lot better in this movie than he was in Civil War. I was kind of like, wow, what a waste of Martin Freeman for Civil War.
Yeah.
But I thought what they did with him in there is great. I thought he did a really good job on that one.
I can tell you honestly though. Never mind. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section because it's going to reveal too much.
Yeah. So you've even said that you think this is your favorite.
I think this is my new favorite Marvel film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's in my 10. I'm kind of iffy because it feels like it flip flops for me between that and Civil War. And Civil War is
Winter Soldier and Civil War?
No. So Winter Soldier is my favorite one. And then Guardians of the Galaxy might be my second. But we're gonna do next week. By some point we're gonna do for leading up to Infinity War. We're gonna go through all of our Marvel films. We're gonna have a separate video of us just going through our top. I think it's 18 of these movies now, and we're gonna put from least to favorite, and then that will give me a better idea of where I could put Black Panther on this list, because there's so many It is definitely the best film to come out since Civil War, no doubt. Like, none of the movies that have come out. Like, I told my my lady friend who I went with to the movie, I was like, I think I like this more than...
Lady friend? What is it, 1940?
What do you fucking want from me? But I told her that I'm pretty sure I like this more than Spider-Man, and she looked at me like, what? And apparently she loved Spider-Man.
Well, Homecoming was really good, but like...
I kind of think Black Panther is better than Homecoming.
Yeah.
Fucking sue me. I mean, I just kind of thought it was. I was there, and I love Spider-Man Homecoming, and that's saying I'm kind of excited for this list when we do this list next week, because I think that it'll be really interesting to see where we put these, because the last couple, everybody's gonna know what our like number 18 through 15 probably are. It's once you hit the top 10 is where it differs, and I think that me and you have a different list enough to the point where we can actually make a different list. But no, I mean, the movie's great. I loved it. I really did. The more I think about it, the more I want to go see it again, to just kind of engulf myself in this world, because they just did such a great job with building Wakanda. Wakanda's almost more at the forefront than any character. Yeah. Like, that movie is, you could have called the movie Wakanda and I would have been like, yep, that title totally works for it. Yeah. It totally feels like a legit, feels like a good title for it. Yeah. So definitely lived up to my expectations. I think a Twitter thing that I posted, my Twitter, was that I just got back and I was very, very entertained with my experience at Black Panther. So yeah, I was very happy with it. Okay, so now we are going to be
switch to the spoiler.
We're moving on to the spoilers.
We should take a break first.
You want to take a break first? Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Then what we'll do is we'll take a break, and then when we come back, we will have our thoughts ready about what we want to talk about with the spoilers. And don't worry, we'll have the banner up there for anybody who wants to.
Also, probably in the description, time tags to just skip the spoiler part.
Yeah, I'll have the time slot separated for non-spoiler and then spoiler review. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll be right back. I almost said after these messages, but we don't have messages. But we'll be back.
90s television creeping into your brain.
Yep. And we're back. Yeah. Adam had to leave. He had to pee.
Yeah, I had to piss really bad. I didn't want to say that. Like, can we stop? I gotta piss.
But this was a good stop and get us to collect our thoughts and everything. But okay.
By the way, before we start, I'm representing for Black History Month with a shirt with Thomas Sankara on it. You should look him up if you haven't. He's a really awesome character from Black history, specifically Africa. Very interesting guy. You should look him up. Okay. If you like Black Panther, you're gonna like Thomas Sankara.
Oh, okay. All right, Adam. But let's go into our spoilers. So do we have to warn it one more time? This is the spoiler section. Spoiler section. So if you have not seen Black Panther, stop watching the video. Either go see Black Panther or save this video and then come back to it whenever you're done. Because yes,
or just like I said in the time tags, just skip it.
Well, this is the last segment of the day anyway, so I mean it's not.
We'll just skip to the part where we say goodbye.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But yes, so just fair warning, this is spoiler heavy. So yeah. Okay, Adam. We'll start from the beginning of the film, and we'll kind of work our way towards the end, I guess, if we want to do that. God, the beginning scene where he's jumping out of that plane and just taking out those guys, where he first meets Nakia, is great.
Which it seems like she's on some kind of mission to save women from being enslaved, sex slaves or something.
Sex slave, that's what it seems like.
They don't really say that, but it's implied. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
They go through that. That's a great scene. And this is one of the ones I want to talk about, because whenever you mentioned... I don't know if you mentioned it on the podcast or if you mentioned it to me personally, but you were like, I heard something about Black Panther that I'm kind of worried about, that they might kind of sugarcoat over. And then I went and saw it and I was like, oh, this is what he's talking about. And they completely don't. So what was your issue?
They do a little bit, but not as bad as I thought they were going to do.
Yeah. What was your issue originally?
So just historically, the CIA and the FBI in general have not been very friendly to the black community, both at home and internationally. And I was worried that they were going to try and, like, exactly what you said, sugarcoat the shit out of the CIA's relationship to, just the international African community.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they did a tiny bit, but not as bad as I expected.
Yeah.
Not as bad as I expected.
Because they have this whole entire scene where they go into this casino, and
it's very clear that the CIA is there at this casino to do something kind of shady.
Well, I mean, we're in spoilers. I mean, you can just talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they're looking to buy stolen resources from an African nation.
Yeah.
Which is something that they do all the time in real life.
Yeah, and so Andy Serkis's Claw comes in with this vibranium that he stole with Michael B. Jordan in this museum.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was sitting there, I was like, wow, they don't sugarcoat the fact that the CIA is totally doing shady shit. Buying stolen
resources.
Yeah.
And in fact, they also call him a colonizer at one point, which I thought was a funny line that a couple people in the theater laughed at, so they must have like picked up on it. But
yeah,
most people were like just went right through it, like completely dead silent, like it was just part of the
film.
film.
Yeah, because they keep calling that, like, there's only like 2 white people in this film, which are Andy Serkis. We were right. It's just Andy Serkis and like Martin Freeman.
Yeah, I think there's a couple extras that might be like European,
maybe
that look like maybe Italian or Greek or something like that.
On those lines.
But they're like henchmen characters with no lines.
I just thought that Claw was, you could have really overdone Claw and made him really hokey and hammy,
and they did.
And they didn't. He's fun, but believably
fun. Oh my
fun.
god, the mixtape line is probably one of the most funny parts of the
He
film.
even talking about his mixtape on SoundCloud.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No,
and Martin Freeman's character is like, no, I'm not interested in your mixtape.
I thought that was so fucking weird when that happened.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it was so funny.
Just Claw and Killmonger, whenever they have their screen time together, while, let's be fair, I mean, I thought it was kind of sad that they killed off his cool character as Claw.
Yeah, like, I don't know what they're going to do about that.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they could have developed that character a little bit more. I'm not, like, pissed that
I thought they could have made him, like, I thought they could have made him, like, a Joker-esque character where he's just constantly causing problems. Yeah. And, like, he doesn't die, like, ever. Yeah. I mean, the dude got his arm cut off, and then he gets it replaced with a, like, Wakandan technology, but then he just ends up getting killed by Killmonger. I just thought that was kind of odd. Yeah. But that first scene with Killmonger in the museum with that woman is
my God.
So cool. What's this? What's this piece? Oh, that's from there. What's this piece? Oh, that's from this place. What's this? Oh, this was from there. Nah.
No, it's not.
No, that's from Wakanda. That's clearly stolen from a tribe. And she's like, excuse me? And then, like, Michael...
Yeah, he talks about, how, like... Because it's a British museum.
Yeah.
So he's talking about how the British historically went into, northern Africa and other parts of Africa and basically just stole shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it talks about some shit that nobody talks about, which I'm really glad that it does. That's what I was hoping that it was going to talk about. It didn't, but again, just like I was worried it was going to sugarcoat a lot, and it didn't. I was hoping it was going to talk about this stuff more, and it did, but not as much as I would have liked. But it was still good enough.
I thought that the social commentary in it was really good, but it wasn't like shoved down your throat.
Yeah.
Because
there wasn't too much of it.
No, because there's even a point in the film where they talk about letting refugees into the country, and one of the guys looks at T'Challa and it's like, if you invite refugees, you invite their problems, which is exactly what this country is currently facing right now.
Yeah.
And
it's not like...
It seems like it's been kind of pushed down recently with refugees, but refugees is still an issue that people talk about in this country.
You got to think about our military actions globally.
Yeah.
Create those refugees. And what they're saying isn't that refugees are bad and that they're only going to bring problems. It's, are we prepared to deal with the problems?
Yes, exactly. We're well equipped to take care of ourselves. Can we take care of more?
Yes, and that's the question that they raise. It's not a question of this is objectively bad. This is a problem that we have to deal with in some way, regardless. Mm-hmm. So I think it's done responsibly. It's maybe not exactly the position I would have taken, but I think it was done responsibly.
Yes. Let's see. What else is there that's... let's go into the thing that you mentioned in the non-spoiler review about your problem with the film. What was your problem with the film, with this like old meme you were talking about?
Oh, the fucking sandal joke.
Oh, you didn't like this?
What are those?
I thought that was so funny.
That's an old meme.
I know it's an old meme, but I thought it really established that Suri is not like a character that needs to be taken like seriously. Like she's a young little girl.
Well, yeah, she's 16 in the film. I think the character's 16.
Yeah.
So like it would make sense that she knows about memes, but
What are
that
those?
Old.
What are those?
Yeah.
That's so funny. I thought it was really great because she was just being dead serious, and then she drops the "what are those?" Yeah, it's a little dated, but I mean, I still thought it was funny, and I thought it kind of showed that this girl is like kind of younger, and like she's not as serious.
She might be smarter than Tony Stark.
They say she is smarter than Tony Stark.
That's what I'm saying. She might be smarter than Tony Stark and the head of this nation's entire science development, but she's still 16.
Yeah,
she's still a kid, and she still like lives the life of kid. You know. So I think, again, they did her character exceptionally well. I think the only character which I really didn't feel any connection to was probably Angela Bassett's character. She just felt like she was there. Like,
Angela Bassett.
She was the former queen.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I kind of agree.
Her performance was not, like...
It's like they didn't have a real good point for her to be there, except
she was
except
there,
when the whole...
to be there.
After the whole Killmonger fight scene. Like, I kind of felt like... Yeah, I kind of was sitting there. I was like, she could have been a lot better.
Like, the movie would have worked had her character not even been there.
Yeah, that's more what I'm saying. It's not that she was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't
more
bad.
Just, I'm like, oh yeah, they really didn't have a lot for her to do as a character. Yeah, I kind of agree.
I don't feel that way about any of the other characters. Oh, I mean, again, Forrest Whitaker being one of my favorite actors of all time, and just being used very sparsely.
Yeah,
as he seems to do a lot these days.
It seems like Forrest Whitaker is becoming the new Sean Bean of
he just shows
acting.
Up and dies.
Yeah, he just shows up for a little bit, says a couple lines, and then gets killed. And it's like he was great for his small little bit. Like I was like totally believing him. You could just see the sadness whenever you see when he meets up with T'Challa again for the first time, and he's just like, "I'm so sorry to hear about." I think the father's name isn't it T'Chaka?
T'Chaka, yeah, it was T'Chaka was the original king,
Yeah, like you could just see in his face that he's just sad. And...
Because it's fucking Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, because Forrest Whitaker can act out of any situation. And just his facial expressions just... I don't know why. I think it's because Forrest Whitaker always has a face that looks so like downtrodden and seen so much shit that whenever he shows emotion... in any extreme, it really hits.
And just again, because we're focusing on Black Panther, and if you're interested in this film, other films you might be interested in, fucking the first time that Forrest Whitaker was like, I was sold on Forrest Whitaker was Ghost Dog.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen Ghost Dog?
No.
You need to fucking see it. I'm pretty sure I talked to you about this.
I think you have. I mean, my first time I was experienced with Forrest Whitaker and actually like knowing. Holy shit, this guy's amazing. It was Last King of Scotland. I know that's later in his career, obviously, but Last King of Scotland is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to what did you think of... obviously, Okoye was great.
Yeah.
She was just... So much. Like, what they could have done with any character that would, like...
Is give them their own solo film and it might work.
Well, I'm not even talking about that, but like, okay. So when Okoye is loyal to the king, and then Killmonger beats him in the ritual combat, and they're like, all right, so they like everybody. What's Angela Bassett, Ramonda and Nakia were like, so how are we gonna overthrow him? And she's like, I can't overthrow him. He is the king now. Yeah. I don't want him to be king, but he is the king. I am loyal to the throne. That's treasonous. Like, I love that because if she would have been like, all right, let's take him out, I would have been like, that is completely against her character. She is Wakandan first. She is loyal to Wakanda, not the king at the time.
Well, they actually also established that, like, verbally later on, where she's fighting her lover.
Yeah. And she's
and
like...
he's like, you'd really kill me. And she's like...
Which, by the way, we forgot to mention, but
she doesn't
Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out is that character.
Yeah.
And he did for the small little bit that he was in there, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's just like...
She's like...
Would you kill me? Would you kill me?
I don't want to, but Wakanda first.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, she is the general of the military there.
Yeah.
Like, she runs it all. And so I thought that was like, she's like, I can't. Like, you could tell she was so, and that's how good of an actress she actually is. That she was like, you could see this torn where she's like, I want to. I don't want this guy as king. This guy is a horrible person. But he's the king. What can I do?
Yeah.
He won in ritual combat. And so that just was pretty great because Killmonger, when he comes in, just every scene he just steals it.
Yeah,
he is just...
I keep saying that nobody steals the movie, but you're right. Like, he
should have been in the movie longer. And it's such a shame that they decided they were going to kill his character off. Now, I'm not upset about it. I just kind of thought that, man, wouldn't it have been great to see him get imprisoned and break out and be even more pissed off than before? But I understand that when you drop the line of, I'd rather jump into the waters than be chained up, my ancestors knew that. I understand that, okay. He hit his end. He's not taking jail time over death.
Yeah. I think having him at any point become more villainous than he was would ruin his character.
Yeah.
I think he'd ruin it for me. Because like I said, up until the point where he's like choking his own citizens.
That was the one part where we were
that's
like,
where
okay.
all right, you lost me at this point. Like up the whole point, like arming, guerrilla groups across the world to liberate the oppressed people. I'm like, this all, like, I can sympathize with this stuff. And then you start attacking your own citizens, and I'm like, you lost me.
Yeah, when you start choking them out, like, yeah, hey, I'm like, I told you to do something, you're going to do it.
Like, it could have been handled verbally. And I guess that's the problem is, like...
But yes, that's when I realized, I was like, holy shit. This guy, I never thought for a second he was fucking around, but then I really was like, no way, he's
definitely not.
He would kill you. He's not loyal to Wakanda. He's loyal to...
He's loyal to a global cause.
Yeah. He doesn't give a shit about Wakanda.
It's super respectable up until the point where he just doesn't handle that situation responsibly.
Well, no, because he's not fit to be a king. He's not fit to be a ruler. He's a guerrilla fighter.
Yeah.
Who's just a buff fucking dude who just knocked the shit out of T'Challa.
That's another thing we got to talk about. It's like they're talking about, how he's coming there, and the CIA's like, yeah, we kind of trained him.
Yeah, they were like,
so they kind of addressed
T'Challa is like, how does this man get created? And Martin Freeman's like, yeah, we did that. We kind of regret it, but we trained him to be a massive guerrilla tactician and fighter.
Yeah, and they address like the CIA's role in that kind of stuff in the world. Like this is such a good film.
It's handled very good. Now another issue I kind of like goofy. I thought the convenient plot twist of the vibranium train. I was like, really? Vibranium's unstable when transported too quickly, so they had to create a device that nullifies the vibranium. But it just so happens that it nullifies their suits too. Mm-hmm. I kind of thought that was kind of stupid because he needed that opportunity to be able to stab Killmonger.
Yeah,
but
I think that's the only reason that exists.
But you could have just had a normal. But you could have just had a normal vibranium knife, and it would have pierced the armor.
Yeah,
because the vibranium spear pierced the vibranium car.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And here's another reason why that doesn't make any sense. The vibranium came to Earth on a fucking
meteor. How did it not blow up the Earth?
Yeah, if it gets unstable with high speed, you're traveling through the vacuum of space and entering an atmosphere on fire.
But can I also throw this?
Speed.
I'm going to also throw this out the way. And I'm going to say a little bit of a bullshit I'm going to say is, okay, yes, the vibranium. I thought about this the whole time, too. I don't know why I didn't bring this up. But yes, this is kind of a major one. Vibranium came down on a giant asteroid. and struck the Earth.
Embedded itself into the Earth's surface to the point where it was covered.
Yes. So hard that it did that. Okay. But, and it created a surface large enough that a city could be built upon it, correct?
Yes.
In Age of Ultron, his plan was to lift Sokovia off the ground into orbit and let it drop and hit the Earth, and it would kill like 75% of the population because of a meteor that big.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, wouldn't an asteroid of the hardest metal ever known to man?
Which it probably would have pierced the Earth and just kept going.
Wouldn't it have fucking destroyed the Earth? Like, unless you're going to say that it, like...
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're going to say that it's what killed the dinosaurs, that's the only thing I could possibly believe. If you wanted to suspend disbelief that the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was vibranium, then I could maybe go for it. But
you can't even do that because the history of Wakanda existed before the meteor struck.
Did it?
Yeah, in the beginning of the film where they're talking about the history of Wakanda and like how the kingdom came together and all that shit. There was already tribes living there. So that means that there was already humans developed to the level where they had,
technology to harvest it.
Yeah, and the technology to harvest that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an error that is a little missed up.
Again, suspension of disbelief. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, I know. I mean, as I said, we're just nitpicking at this point. We're just joking around, bullshitting. Because, I mean, this is a guy who walks around in a giant cat suit and fucks people up.
Yeah. Okay, let's also talk about the car chase scene really quick.
Yeah, how awesome is that car chase scene?
It's so fucking good. And I have to say that, like, for the most part in action movies, car chases bore the fuck out of me. Because it's just cars going... and turning around corners, and it's fucking dumb. It's
the sound that cars make when they turn corners?
In my head, they do. And they're just boring, and they're like all car chases are the same. And this car chase in this film is so fucking good, so good.
Oh, I loved it. It was so cool. I thought another cool feature that they threw in there that I thought like was really well handled. But I love the dream world he goes to whenever he's being given the Black Panther power back and he has to be buried in that red sand. I was like, wow, look at the fucking colors. Yeah. And here's what I thought was really cool. This is why I liked it so much. So when T'Challa gets put in his red sand and he goes into the spiritual Black Panther world, it's this purple African jungle type of thing. And the Black Panthers
like a savanna,
are all in the trees. And then his father comes down and he's talking to him. But then when Killmonger gets it, and then he goes back to the place where his father died and where he found him. Yeah. And that was like...
It's almost like an acknowledgement that he's not fit to be king.
Well, it's almost that, but I was almost taking it as... it's kind of hard to explain. With T'Challa, I think that he views it as this is the pure world. This is the pure afterlife, and this is all that I expect for what happened after I die. But for Killmonger, his view of like pureness went right before he lost his pureness. Do you get what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah.
So like he was just this pure innocent kid, and then when he goes in there and he finds his father with claw marks on it, that's when he lost. That's when Killmonger was born.
Yeah.
And then with T'Challa, when he goes into this mystical, that's when the Black Panther is born. Do you get what I'm kind of saying there?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a cool dynamic that he didn't go to that place. He's not really meant to rule it, but he also, his view of like pureness was before he was turned into this Killmonger, where he's going around killing everybody, leaving marks on him so that like he's like, all these people I killed to get to you. Yeah. Which that battle scene was great. I mean, the fight scene with him and M'Baku was really great. You really liked M'Baku. Like that's another thing I would have liked to see. Why is that tribe up in the mountains? Like I know that they like disagreed, but why? Like they don't really explain it very well.
They don't. Yeah, you're right. They don't really explain that well, but they do. They do a good job of making it look like that that tribe is culturally different from the 4 other tribes that came together, like significantly.
Yes, they definitely are. They're the ones who are like who I guess are viewed as savages.
Yeah, they
like they even make the joke that I will feed you to my children.
And then he laughs. And
he's like,
we're
no,
vegetarians.
we're vegetarians. But they don't wear like the nice clothes that each other tribe does.
Yeah,
I like that each tribe had its own like style.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
was really cool.
That's the one thing I got to talk about is the weapon that tribe uses is actually an Iroquois Indian war club.
Oh, that big fucking club?
Yeah, with the ball on the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an African counterpart to that, but I know that's an Iroquois Indian war club. So that was pretty neat to see that, as...
Yeah.
I mean, so... but you could see the other tribes sort of have traditional African weaponry as opposed to that. And I don't know if there is an African counterpart to that type of war club. I assume that there might be. But it was just the design and everything down, to the ball being held by the hand. Like that was...
Yeah.
That's a very, very Iroquois thing. So that was neat. But like they do a good job of establishing that tribe is very culturally different from the other 4 tribes, which do have their own cultural differences in between them. They have the one where they have the dreadlocks that are wrapped.
Yeah, and then the other one has the
disc.
The disc. Then there's the what's his Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
His tribe is kind of just
like wrapped in like sort of sari type thing.
Yeah, and almost like farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not farmers. They're like
herders. They're involved in agriculture.
Yeah, exactly. The movie is just great. The more I think about it, the more it just was really fucking good.
Yeah, it was.
I still can't say for 100% fact that it's definitely not my favorite for sure, because my favorite is still
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier is still my favorite, but man, this movie was just fucking great. Like
also,
I loved almost everything about it. Like as I said, my only nitpicks were CGI and the fact that the last end scene.
We didn't talk about that. The weird CGI at the end, when he's like laying him down, and the arm just looks like it's moving weird. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice that. I'm more talking about when they're actually like fighting and they're in the vibranium cave.
See, I think because the CGI was pretty consistent there, it was okay. It was when they put them on, they're like on a real thing, like a set watching the sunset, and then there's like the CGI suits. They stand out way too much.
Yeah.
And that's when CGI shouldn't have been used.
Yeah, it seemed there are some parts where the CGI is just a little shoddy, but not. This isn't Justice League shoddy bad.
No.
Like and as I said,
I was joking earlier about the helicopter scene from 1979.
Yeah, I actually didn't hate Justice League. I just was like, oh man, that CGI is really fucking bad.
I mean, I didn't see Justice League, but I know about the CGI. I've seen the CGI mustache.
It's nowhere near as bad as what Justice League's CGI issues were.
Yeah.
There was a lot more behind the scenes with Justice League that would cause that issue, but for the most part, Black Panther works 100%. Like the car chase scene, I mean, he's a big cat guy jumping up and down on cars and shit like that, going across buildings while a guy's shooting a laser cannon at him. I didn't see any problem with that CGI. I just
we just talk about the one part where he rips the fucking tire off the car.
Yeah,
that was so bad because he has the fucking vibranium claw thing, and he's basically like, he just rips it off. I'm like, holy fuck! Oh, it's so good. It's such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it's my favorite Marvel film of all time, but it's like one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy about. I mean, yeah, Black Panther turned out more than I expected.
I mean, it's
can I just
breaking
say
records too.
Oh yeah, office. It's crushing. It's crushing the shit out of records. I mean, the fact that it has $192 million opening weekend. Now it had an extended one because
came out on Thursday.
Come out on Thursday, and also I think because tomorrow's President's Day, it still kind of counts
as a weekend.
As a weekend,
because it's an extended weekend.
Yeah, so it's on track to make about $192 million domestically, which makes it the 5th highest grossing opening domestic ever. Which it only needs, I think, to go a little bit more to beat. I think it's 195 that Deadpool has, but it's on track to beat Deadpool's opening Origins record. But look, I don't want to sit here and say that every single time, because it does feel like I shit on it a lot. I'm just not happy with the DCEU, but I'm not unhappy with DC and Warner Brothers as a company. I still want them to make good films. Like,
well, Warner Brothers also put loot boxes into Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about loot boxes, but like, I'm just not happy with the recent run-in with the DC things. So I'm not trying to sit here and say that I just fucking hate DC or anything like that.
No, you definitely don't.
I'm just not very happy.
If anybody on this show dislikes DC just because they're DC, it's probably more me than you.
Yeah,
but
it's not that.
And even me, there are definitely DC characters that I love.
Yeah, but I just want to say that Black Panther has made and will make in 5 days what Justice League had made in 13 weeks. If that just puts it into perspective about the success that Marvel films have just been fucking having, and also just the fact that if people don't see that DC films need to reboot after Justice League, I mean, that's a problem. Like, Justice League shouldn't be making what Black Panther made in 5 days.
5 days, yeah.
You know? So, congratulations, Black Panther, for just the tremendous success and for actually making a good movie. Like, this is one of those ones where we were talking earlier or last week, or a couple weeks ago, about how
important
it is important, but it wouldn't have mattered if the movie wasn't good. It wouldn't have made any difference because, you can put out, you could, like, this, I'm not saying this is anything like it, but I mean, you could have had, imagine if Catwoman had been a massive critical success. You would have had the first, like, female-led black, like, comic book character.
Yeah.
But the movie's a piece of shit and one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
So its cultural importance just went out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Black Panther doesn't do that because Black Panther is one of the best fucking movies of the last, like, year.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even some people are saying it's one of the best movies that they've ever seen. Like, I don't want to go that far, but it is one of the top Marvel movies. It's definitely one of the top I've seen within the last year. So, I mean, it's just congratulations is all I got to say.
Yeah.
Like, we're so happy about it. Real quick, before we kind of close out this thing, we do want to say that the trolls and the losers who have been like
haven't been very successful.
I think the current audience rating for Black Panther is only 75%, which if you go look at that compared to like the Star Wars, it clearly didn't have an effect because either people were hearing about it and decided to post their own positive and it's counteracting all the bad. Because,
or they couldn't get that many people behind it.
Yeah, because currently on IMDb, it's like both rated a 9, and then its audiences are about 7.8 and 75%. So it's kind of about that.
That's kind of accurate. When you think about aggressive white supremacists, like they're
or just
it's
a
very small group of people. They're just very loud.
Yes, exactly. So, but we just wanted to say that thank God that it's not being really affected to a point where it's like just embarrassingly noticeable. Yeah. So we just wanted to throw that in there as well too. But so that is our spoiler review of Black Panther. I'll release both of these videos separate so that people can view both of them. Yeah. But if you're watching this as a separate video, then go and check out our non-spoiler. Pretty much talk about more of the highlights that we really liked and maybe a couple more of the issues we had with it. But that's pretty much closes out the show for today, though, Adam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have anything else you want to add before we start kind of finishing out this episode?
No, I mean, I think we did good. I mean, I had a great time today. I went and saw a fucking awesome movie. So
yeah. Okay, Adam, where can people reach us?
Facebook.com/GTAS podcast.
Okay.
And same thing on Twitter, twitter.com/GTAS podcast.
Okay. And obviously our YouTube channel, you're probably watching it because we don't have our iTunes channel up yet. We are trying so goddamn hard to work on that.
We're
Like,
working on it.
I just am having a difficult time finding a website that can host our podcast and give me enough space so that I can upload these to you, because we do 4 shows a month, and that's a good amount of bandwidth that we use. I mean, our podcasts are usually about over 100 megabytes, and most offer only about 50.
Audio only.
Yeah,
about
audio
107 megabytes. So
yeah.
Either we gotta compress the shit out of them, or
we're working on it. Trust me, though.
We'll figure it out.
We'll have and obviously I've said it. We'll have an announcement video. I'll do a bunch of promotion whenever we're finally on iTunes. But once again, thank you once again.
Oh, we should also probably let people know that I'm gonna watch the what is it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows. Is that the one that?
Oh, the show?
Yeah, the show from Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah.
One. Not the new one.
No, yeah, you're going to just watch just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it's just 2012
I'm going to watch, because I saw somebody left a comment like, Adam really needs to watch that series. And me and Bobby made a deal.
I said I would watch One Piece if he watches the TMNT show.
Yeah. So as soon as I'm caught up to One Piece, I think I'm only like 20 episodes away from being completely caught up. Yeah. I'm going to start TMNT.
Cool. But once again, I'd still like to thank you for the support that we've been getting the last week or so. It's mostly been on our Black Panther topic, but no, I mean, just the nice comments we've been getting, the support. People have been liking our stuff on Twitter. Like, thank you so much. Like, really, it really touches me that anyone would even give a shit about a show called Guys Talking About Shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we worked on this show for about 2 years, and we just pretty much were doing it just for fun and bullshitting around, and we didn't really get a lot of comments or anything like that, and then we decided to bring it back. And now that we're having I love talking with people on the comment section. Mostly everybody who comments, I try to comment them back as soon as I can.
As long as there's a response is necessary.
Yeah.
We respond.
Yeah.
We've been telling you that for a while, and I'm glad that you guys finally caught on to it.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, everyone's just been being so nice, and just thank you so much. It means so much to me. I mean, this show is just it's called Guys Talking About Shit.
It's a hobby. It's a hobby, really.
Yeah, and if you're enjoying our content, if even one person enjoys our content, that's enough. It's enough for me.
Yeah.
So, thank you again, everybody, for listening, and until next time, farewell.